Now, we all know that there is this little movie coming out about mutants or something like that. Of course, we're talking about New Mutants. New Mutants is a movie that we've been waiting for quite a while. We've all kind of been waiting for this film to come out. It's been delayed several times. I believe it was shot over 3 years ago now. We're literally over 3 years since this movie was shot. And it got delayed and delayed and delayed, and now it's supposed to come out end of August. That's probably going to get a delay as well at some point or the other. Now, there's also been a lot of speculation over the last while that maybe New Mutants would end up, I don't know, maybe going directly to Disney Plus or to streaming and stuff like that. At any rate, this morning when I got up, just a couple hours ago, I noticed this stuff going around on the internet. Did you see a trailer leaked for the New Mutants that says streaming on Disney Plus on September 4th? Did you see it? Okay. So that's really ramped up this all this whirlwind going around the internet this morning that Disney Plus is going to have New Mutants on September 4th. I want to talk for a little bit about why that's not true. But then I also want to talk about why there's a possibility it could be true. All right. So we're going to spend the first little bit here talking about why this stuff about New Mutants is coming to streaming in September 4th is not true. And then we'll talk a little bit about why there's a chance it could be. So let's talk about this. Now, the trailer in question, in case you guys haven't seen or heard anything about it, this is up on Reddit, of course, the source of all truth. But this was, of course, put up on Reddit, and it's this trailer. So this is the trailer we're talking about. Now, I'm going to talk about 3 reasons why I don't believe New Mutants is coming out on Disney Plus on September 4th. Like it says, you can see right there, right at the bottom of it, streaming exclusively, September 4th. Here are 3 reasons why I don't think this is real. Number 1, the trailer just looks fake. We'll talk about that in a second. Number 2, there are contractual issues with HBO. Number 3, there are contractual issues for theatrical release. We'll go through each of these one at a time. We're going to start off by looking at this trailer itself and just the fact that this trailer looks incredibly fake. And here's why. They do a pretty good job of cutting this thing together, but I want you to notice something. Look at the typography. Look at the fonts of New Mutants, the styling of it and all that kind of stuff. Okay, I want you to pay attention to that. Now, we're going to go back. We're going to go over to, where did it go? It's up here. Here we go. Look at this screen that comes up in the middle of nowhere that just suddenly says streaming September 4th. Watch this. Did you catch that? Did you catch that? Okay, now, first things first. Let's look at the background blue. They tried to make this look like Disney Plus's background blue, but you're going to see here that it actually, you can tell they're 2 different background images. So look at the background blue there. Now look at the Disney Plus one, the actual Disney Plus one. All right. Now look at the background and then look at the one with the September 4th date on it. They're clearly different background images. They tried to make it look similar, but they're clearly different background images. Also, I want to say, look at the font. I mean, if that doesn't scream some guy who just opened up Photoshop and typed in a date, I don't know what else does. I really don't know what else does other than that. So yeah, I mean, there are just too many telltale signs here that this thing is fake. The fact that they're not using New Mutants typography, the fact that the Disney Plus background image is clearly, even though only slightly, it is clearly different. Again, take a look at that image and now look at the Disney Plus one. They're clearly different, all that kind of stuff. So number 1, the trailer itself just looks fake. So that's the first thing we'll talk about here. The second reason why I don't think we're about to get New Mutants announced to be releasing on Disney Plus on September 4th is there are contractual obligations with HBO. And this was kind of pointed out a number of months ago. A lot of the bigger outlets went into this in detail about, the fact that New Mutants, as well as a number of other Fox-based films, they have pre-existing contracts for when their streaming starts. They're going to HBO. They have other contracts. In this case, HBO is one of the big things. So anything that goes to streaming, as far as New Mutants goes, or stuff that came out from Fox, they first got to go over to HBO. So there's contractual obligations with HBO. Now we go on to the third part, is that there are contractual obligations with the cast and director and others involved for this film to actually have a theatrical release. This was pointed out earlier this year on Variety, which pointed out in another article that there are contractual obligations involved here, that this has to go theatrically. So, number one, the trailer looks fake. Number two, there are contractual obligations for when New Mutants does go to streaming, it needs to go over to HBO first. And number three, there are contractual obligations and issues for this thing to be theatrically released. So there are a number of different things here that point to the fact that this announcement is probably fake. That trailer is definitely fake, but I mean that this whole news and rumor about September 4th is probably fake. That being said, all right, that being said, there are reasons that if you are somebody who wants to believe that this is true, there are reasons to hold on to, legitimate reasons to hold on to. Let's start with this. We've got a panel coming at the Comic-Con at Home that's coming up here. There is a panel coming of New Mutants, right? Now, the fact that they're doing a panel does not mean they're about to announce they're going to streaming. But, you know, with them doing a panel, you think there might be a big announcement? Probably announcement about the new theatrical release date. Or it is conceivable that this big announcement will be that they're going to go to streaming. And maybe Disney Plus. So that's one thing. If you're somebody who wants to believe this thing's going to Disney Plus, there's legitimate piece of information, number one, or at least legitimate possibility, number one, that you could hold on to. There is this upcoming panel, could be used as a platform for announcing it going to streaming. The second thing that you could hold on to here is, even though there's contractual obligations for this to go to HBO, it is conceivable that Disney went to HBO and said, let's make a deal for us to get these streaming rights back. Because, well, you know, here's the thing, dear friends at HBO. We don't think we can pull off a theatrical release right now. We don't think we can pull off a theatrical release. We need to put this thing on streaming. You got the streaming rights. Can we make some kind of deal here? And maybe Disney paid off Warner and HBO to get the streaming rights back. That is conceivable. It's not like nothing like that's ever happened before, so that's possible. Also, the third issue about the contractual obligations for this to get a theatrical release, same thing with HBO. Disney could have theoretically gone to the people involved and said, listen, we would like to put this thing straight to streaming. Can we work out a deal to get you to release the theatrical release clause in your contract and pay you X amount of money or whatever? So if you're looking for reasons why maybe you could believe this thing's going to streaming, number one, we've got that upcoming panel at Comic-Con at Home. Number two, they could make a back channel deal with HBO to get those streaming rights. Number three, they could also make another back channel deal with those interested parties who have those clauses in their contract about this movie getting a theatrical release. It could be resolved. So there's a bunch of reasons why, if you think it's coming out, I got to tell you, you're not crazy, because there's enough there to maybe hold that belief. But I will still say, though, I find it highly unlikely. Not impossible. I just gave you a bunch of reasons why it's not impossible. I still think it's unlikely, because if you're Disney and you're trying to get this New Mutants movie out there, is it worth the hassle and expense to you, if you're Disney, to go and pay another couple of $1 million to HBO to get the streaming rights back right away? To go and pay more compensation to everybody you had that contract with that says this got to get theatrical release? Is New Mutants worth your time, energy, and money to do all of that to forego a theatrical release and get it put on to Disney Plus? I don't think it is, but maybe Disney does. So my position on this right now is simply this. I don't think that this is legit. I don't think we're getting this announced on September 4th, but I gave you a bunch of reasons why it's not impossible. Question is for you guys. What do you think is going to be going on here with New Mutants? Do you expect it to get a theatrical release, whether it gets its current release date or not? Or do you expect, you know what, John, I think there's enough information there to say we can expect this thing to drop on Disney Plus. What do you guys think? Jump down into the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. All right, guys.